Happy 2026, my loves. We've had quite the start to this new year. Like I've been speaking about, this next few months is really sort of the corridor into the new. So we have lots of things reconciling out and preparing for the new to be coming in as we head into March and April. Part of what I'm witnessing and experiencing and the feedback that I've been getting is a lot of frustration is up in the collective right now. And there's a few different things that are happening. We have one side of the frustration that has been growing and is actually quite frustrated with the looping and the lack of progress that is being seen in the world and just really feeling ready to grow. And the other side of the collective is feeling frustrated that things are not just magically getting better or improving. And part of what I'm seeing is that everyone is being pushed to their next levels or being ushered to their next levels in some karmic contracts are being reconciled out. And that's part of what is creating some of this tension. So we have, like I said, those that have been working and are just no longer wanting to participate in the old loops. And you might find that some frustration is coming up with that because you're finding that you just can't participate with people, places, and things in the way that you used to anymore because you have significantly outgrown that dynamic and that pattern. And it might be becoming exhausting because the other people, places, and things have not been evolving along with you. And now you're just no longer able to really sustain that level of energy or connection, and you're being called to take a step back. This is an opportunity for you to go into witness mode and just allow yourself to process your part, right? Extract yourself from the pattern, close out the patterns and the energy, set yourself new standards and boundaries. Let yourself reconcile your own inner emotions. Again, drop in your standards and then obviously see where your guidance takes you from there. On the other side, we're seeing the other part of the collective being quite frustrated because things are not improving in the way that they have been asking them to improve, but they've also been looping in somewhat of a victim consciousness, and they haven't really been willing to take specific actions forward just yet, or they weren't aware of how to do it. But this is important because those of you that are being guided to pull out actually create the space for the next wave to go through their process and go through their transformation and walk through their dark night of the soul and to go through their next levels of growth and evolution so that they can actually get and receive the answers and perspectives that they're needing to grow to their next levels. And it really feels like this full wolf moon in Cancer is really ramping the emotions up quite significantly. So there are quite a bit of energies ramping up. I know I've been speaking in general collective terms, but this is also applying to the feminine and masculine energies. And lately, the energies that have been coming in, we talk about divine masculine, we talk about divine feminine, but again, as I'm going to state here, these are all messages and mirrors for anyone who's resonating with it, regardless of how you're identifying. Because the most recent video that I did around divine masculine's process, many of you were resonating with it, and it feels like, again, like we're hitting this sort of sticky pocket that we're resolving out of right now. And what came through in the session that I did connected to the internal masculine is really supporting finding those blind spots And a big part of what we discovered, excuse me, I'm just trying to pull it up, was where so much of the internal masculine energy was suppressed, suffocated, and suffocated down, right? Like within our systems, even as feminines, females, divine feminines, however you identify, because we all have masculine ancestors. We all came from a male father. And so we all have these energies in our system. And this has been a very intense blind spot for many feminines because that frustration of feeling like the masculine is not coming forward or working on what they need to work on is still a form of a mirror. And so when you're feeling that frustration or you're seeing it in the world, if this is resonating and you're still guided to go deeper within yourself, it's still an opportunity to say, hold up. What am I missing within me? Do I have a blind spot? Is something frozen in me? Is there something that I haven't been seeing? And a few weeks ago, we were talking about the feminines having layers of protective mechanisms. And since we've been working with the thawing of the feminine protective mechanisms, lo and behold, we found this whole pocket of energy connected to the inner masculine that was frozen in keeping us in those energies. And finding this in resolving the suffocating energy and allowing this part of the masculine energy internally to be freed has created quite a bit of space. So, what's happening is it's bringing up internal conflicts, internal energies, in the sense that it's allowing for deeper states of internal union that many feminines didn't even know that they were needing or wanting. And so, as they're going deeper into their own internal masculine energy, they're realizing where their own energy was squishing their own feminine, or where the feminine was mad at the masculine for overprotecting or over providing. You get, or the inner masculine was upset for not being able to speak. And, all of those dynamics that we have felt or wanted to resolve in the twin flame divine counterpart experiences, if they're still occurring in the external, there's still more to resolve in the internal. This doesn't make anything wrong with you. This is actually what we signed up to do. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean you missed it, you did something wrong. This just means there's more to resolve if this resonates. And this isn't about doing it to get someone or something back. This is about, well, it is. It's about getting yourself back, my loves. It's about having access to all of who you are. Because as you resolve these energies, as you come into deeper states of internal union, you feel at peace within yourself. You feel resolution in your connection. The more at peace you are with you, the more at peace you are with everything. You see what I'm saying? So, this is really about the fact that if you're feeling uncomfortable with something in your life or within you or within your experience, that is an opportunity for you to discover what it is and how can you fulfill that for yourself, right? And then as you fill that for yourself, as you provide it for yourself, it starts to come in the external. The external starts to match the internal in new and deeper ways. And I want to say that I feel this is important because this is being revealed to us in waves for reasons. A few years ago here on the channel, I talked so deeply about internal union, and it's always been a very important topic here on this channel. And then we got into back in September, October, we really started talking about, okay, now it's time to start stabilizing the container to welcome sacred union into our lives in a way that is sustainable, right? Like as you're hitting the internal union deeper, then you open up like now, okay, I'm ready to start inviting sacred union partnership into my life. And you work with those energies. And what I'm finding is so incredibly beautiful about this dance of the inner and the outer is that as you open up to that next level of sacred union, now there's this deeper state of internal union that is being revealed. And a big key piece that's been coming up along this entire journey has been the health of the nervous system and the capacity to be able to allow ourselves to thaw out and release these old patterns so that we have the space and the capacity to maintain and sustain deeper states of internal union as well as deeper states of sacred union. And we keep leveling up with each state and each rung that we're going on. And I just observe it and witness it and follow through as it comes through for me. So as I receive my downloads, as I see the energies that are playing out, that's what I show up here and talk to you about because that is what I'm guided to do. We're looking at our world and we know it's not a reflection of what we know in our hearts it can be. And so, if you're the boots on the ground like me that's here doing this work, that's been initiated into this work, this is where we are, my loves. But I have to tell you, I'm personally very, very excited to find this deeper pocket of internal masculine energy that is wanting to be restored. And it's in this process of reparation and reconciliation and restoration within our own systems, within our own lines, regardless of how we identify, that we support the masculine energies on our planet, period. And again, we all hold the masculine energies. And so, again, instead of reflecting or projecting outward, we can take that opportunity to say, oh, this is what I'm seeing in the world. How can I now go back within and work on that within my own internal mirror? Okay. And this is a very powerful practice. So if you have frustrations coming up, regardless of what it is, take a seat, sit with yourself. What is this? Is it just moving? Because I've already been working on it. I already set my intention and it's just clearing out. Let it move. Is there something for me to drop in? Is there something for me to look at? Do I have a blind spot I'm not aware of? And what can I do to reconcile that? This feels important. It feels like exactly what I've kind of been sensing for January and February. These reconciliation energies, completing out the old patterns, completing out the karmic contracts, completing out those cycles, completing out and closing out where your system may have still been subconsciously entertaining those energies, finding the pinpoints of places or spaces where we might have had blind spots that we weren't aware of. And that's really what's coming up. Where can we dissolve and resolve any residual defense mechanisms so we can actually get to the layers to thaw out and retrieve the parts of ourselves that we have been searching for so that we can move forward in our highest light, in our highest alignment, and allowing divine timing to continue to unfold. So, this feels very deeply like what is coming up through this process. And there's a lot going on. As you can tell, there's so many things like in process of shifting. I wanted to come on and share a message But I'm also acutely aware that a lot of it is actually in the process of integrating. And again, there's the reparation energy, a restoration energy. And if you're looking for any support of how to work with these energies and you haven't done that session, I'll put it in the pinned comment. I do have some sessions coming up next week as well. But again, in general, just be patient with yourself, be patient with the process, focus on your part, witness, and just allow whatever else is processing with the external mirrors. And just again, focus back to what feels important for you and the health of your process. And I feel like more steps are going to open up and evolve with this. Even as I'm talking, I can feel that there's more processing in the nervous system. So if you guys have done the Nourishing the Nervous System series, you may want to check back in with that. If not, I'll put that in the pinned comments as well. And again, let's just see where things unfold to. I'm sending you so much love, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Take care. Much love. Peace.